How to survive a heart attack alone. 60 life-saving tips every senior must know. It's strange how quiet an emergency room can feel in the seconds before a life changes. I've stood there countless times over the past 30 years, watching someone's face turn pale, hearing a monitor alarm, and realizing that the difference between life and death often comes down to minutes, sometimes even seconds. In those moments, fear fills the room. But what I've learned is this: while a heart attack can strike fast, it doesn't always have to be fatal. Most deaths happen before help ever arrives, not because the heart can't be saved, but because people hesitate. The good news is that hesitation can be replaced with preparation. Once you know exactly what to do, you hold real power in your hands. Knowledge, not panic, is what saves lives. If you find this helpful, take a second to like or share. It really helps our little community grow. Now, let's look at the first habit that makes the biggest difference after 60. I've spent decades caring for people who thought they were fine until suddenly they weren't. I don't say that to scare you. I say it because knowing the truth gives you a chance to act. You don't have to be a doctor to understand what to do during a heart attack. You just need a few simple science-backed steps. Things you can do right where you are, even if you're alone at home on a quiet afternoon. Today, I'll walk you through 7 specific actions that can double your odds of survival. They're not complicated. They don't require special equipment. They're based on what real cardiologists teach their patients, and what I've personally seen save lives in those critical minutes before the ambulance arrives. So before we begin, take a slow breath. Maybe you're sitting at your kitchen table, sipping coffee, or resting after a walk. Wherever you are, stay with me for the next few minutes. You might learn something that saves your own life or the life of someone you love. And if you'd like, tell me where you're watching from or how old you are down in the comments. I read every one. It reminds me that these lessons don't stay trapped in hospital walls, they reach real people, living real lives. Now, let's begin with the very first step, the one that could decide everything when seconds matter. Call emergency services immediately. The very first moment you feel that heavy pressure in your chest, that strange wave of breathlessness or cold sweat, don't wait and see what happens. Pick up the phone and call emergency services right away. Time is muscle, that's what cardiologists say. And it's true. Every minute that blood flow stays blocked, part of your heart is starving for oxygen. The faster you make that call, the more heart muscle you save, and the better your chance of walking out of the hospital on your own 2 feet. So many times, I've seen people hesitate. They tell themselves, maybe it's just gas, or I don't want to bother anyone. That pause, even a few minutes, can cost more than they realize. I remember a man named Robert, 68 years old, who felt chest pressure after dinner. He waited, hoping it would fade while he sat on the couch watching the evening news. By the time his daughter found him, the damage was beyond repair. It breaks your heart to see something so preventable. But then there are the stories that end differently. A woman named Helen, 72, woke up one night feeling an ache in her chest and a sudden wave of nausea. She didn't second-guess it. She called 911, unlocked her front door, and waited in a chair by the window. The paramedics were there within minutes, started treatment right away, and she was home again within a week, alive, grateful, and still tending her little backyard garden. That's the difference those first few moments make. Call even if you're not sure. The worst that can happen is a false alarm, and you go home with peace of mind. But if it truly is a heart attack, That single phone call may save your life. If it turns out to be indigestion, you lose nothing. If it's a heart attack, you gain your life. Now that the call for help is made, let's talk about what you can do in those precious minutes while waiting for the ambulance to arrive, a simple action that can keep your blood moving and give you more time. Chew, don't swallow one aspirin if safe for you. Once you've called for help, your next move can literally shape the outcome. If you have aspirin nearby and your doctor has told you it's safe for you to take, chew one tablet right away. Not swallow, chew. It might taste a little bitter, but that simple act can help thin your blood and slow down the clot that's blocking your heart. In plain terms, aspirin helps keep blood moving just enough to buy you precious time until the paramedics arrive. A heart attack happens when a clot blocks the flow of oxygen to part of your heart muscle. Chewing aspirin helps break down that clot before it grows larger. Swallowing the pill whole can take several minutes to digest, but when you chew it, the medicine absorbs almost immediately through your mouth and stomach lining. In a situation measured in seconds, that speed matters. I remember a retired bus driver, 70 years old, who once shared his story. He was home alone when a crushing pain hit his chest. He remembered what his cardiologist had said and reached for the small bottle of aspirin on his coffee table. He chewed it, called 911, and waited calmly in his recliner. When the EMTs arrived, his heart was still pumping strong enough to treat in time. His doctor later told him that the aspirin likely kept the damage from spreading, and that single step helped him walk out of the hospital 2 weeks later. Of course, aspirin isn't for everyone. If you're allergic, have a bleeding disorder, or your doctor has told you not to take it, skip this step completely. But for most people, keeping a small bottle of uncoated aspirin in an easy-to-reach spot, maybe beside your bed or in the kitchen cabinet, is one of the smartest precautions you can take. That little white tablet isn't a cure, but it can hold the line long enough for help to reach you. Once you've done that, your next focus is on helping your body breathe freely and reducing the strain on your heart, and that starts with something as simple as how you sit. Loosen tight clothing and sit upright. Once you've called for help and taken an aspirin if it's safe, the next step is simple but powerful. Loosen any tight clothing and sit upright. It might sound small, but posture can make a real difference. When you're lying flat, your heart and lungs have to work harder to move blood and air. Sitting upright helps open your chest, easing pressure on your diaphragm so you can breathe more freely. It also keeps blood flowing more effectively through your body when your heart is struggling to keep up. Think of it as giving your heart room to breathe. Many people instinctively want to lie down when they feel pain or dizziness, but during a heart attack, that can actually make things worse. Your lungs can't expand fully, and fluid can start to build up in your chest, which makes breathing even harder. Sitting upright, ideally in a sturdy chair or against a wall, reduces that strain. It's one of those simple adjustments that keeps oxygen moving while you wait for help. I once met a woman named Marjorie, a retired teacher who loved tending to her small flower garden. One warm afternoon, she felt a tightness in her chest while pulling weeds. Instead of lying on the ground or trying to push through it, she went inside, loosened her gardening apron, and sat upright in her favorite kitchen chair. When the paramedics arrived, she was alert and breathing steadily. Her doctor later told her that staying upright likely prevented her from fainting and helped protect her heart from more damage. It's a quiet act of awareness, freeing your chest, relaxing your shoulders, and letting your body breathe while help is on the way. That calm, steady position gives your heart a better chance to keep working until professionals take over. And if you ever feel dizzy or lightheaded, there's another quick action that can keep blood flowing to your brain just long enough to stay conscious. Let's talk about that next. Cough firmly if you feel faint. This next action might sound unusual, but it can keep you conscious long enough for help to arrive. If you start to feel lightheaded, dizzy, or like you're about to black out, try coughing hard and steady. It's not a cure for a heart attack, and it should never replace medical treatment, but it can buy you precious seconds when your circulation starts to drop. Doctors sometimes call this technique cough CPR. The idea is simple. Every deep cough squeezes your chest and pushes blood out of the heart, just like a small, manual pump. That little burst of pressure helps send oxygen to your brain until paramedics take over. When blood flow to the brain suddenly dips, you can lose consciousness fast. Coughing forcefully helps your body maintain blood pressure, almost like giving your heart a gentle jump start. But don't overdo it. Coughing non-stop or too hard can make things worse. The goal is a deep, firm cough every few seconds if you feel yourself slipping toward faintness. I once met a man in his late 60s named Frank, a retired mechanic who spent his mornings tinkering in his garage. One day he felt a crushing weight in his chest, followed by a dizzy spell. He remembered hearing about the cough method and gave it a try. Deep breath, strong cough, again and again. Those small efforts kept him awake long enough for the paramedics to reach him. Later, his doctor told him that simple reflex might have prevented a collapse that could have caused serious brain damage. So if you ever feel your vision dimming or your body going weak during chest pain, stay focused. Take a slow breath, then cough firmly from deep in your chest every couple of seconds until help arrives. Every strong cough keeps blood moving, keeps oxygen reaching your brain, and keeps you present for the next step. And that next step is all about making sure help can actually reach you fast. Unlock your door and keep your phone close. When a heart attack strikes, every second counts not just for your body, but for the people trying to save you. One of the simplest, most overlooked steps is to unlock your door and keep your phone within arm's reach. It sounds small, but those few seconds can mean everything. Paramedics can break a door down if they have to, but even a short delay can cost precious time when your heart needs help right now. I once heard about a widower in his 70s who called 911 after feeling crushing chest pain. He collapsed before he could unlock the front door. The ambulance arrived quickly, but the crew had to waste valuable minutes forcing their way in. By the time they reached him, too much damage had already been done. It's a painful reminder that the smallest barrier, even a locked door, can become a wall between you and survival. Then there's the story of another senior, an 80-year-old woman from Florida. When she felt her heart tighten, she unlocked her front door, kept her phone on speaker beside her, and sat quietly in a chair by the window. The EMTs reached her in under 5 minutes, walked right in, and began treatment immediately. She survived with only minor heart damage. That small act preparing her space for help changed everything. If you live alone, make it a habit to keep your phone nearby at all times, not across the room or on the charger. During a heart attack, even walking a few steps can be dangerous. Set the phone on speaker so you can breathe freely and still follow the dispatcher's voice. It keeps your hands free and your focus steady. Make it easy for help to reach you. Once you've opened the way, the next thing that matters is calming your body and mind, slowing your breath to ease the strain on your heart. Take slow, deep breaths. When your heart is under stress, fear can make things worse. The moment panic sets in, Your body releases adrenaline, that surge of fight or flight energy that raises your heart rate and blood pressure. During a heart attack, that's the last thing you want. The more your heart races, the harder it has to work when it's already struggling for oxygen. The solution isn't complicated or high-tech. It's your breath. Slow, steady breathing helps calm your body's stress response and keeps oxygen flowing to your brain and heart. Here's how to do it. Place one hand gently on your belly and take a deep breath in through your nose. Feel your stomach rise as the air fills your lungs. Then exhale slowly through your mouth, as if you're blowing through a straw. Try to keep the rhythm smooth, about 6 to 8 breaths each minute. With every calm breath, your oxygen levels improve, and your heart's workload begins to ease. It's a simple act, but it tells your body, we're safe, stay steady. Researchers have seen this effect firsthand. A study in the Journal of Cardiopulmonary Rehabilitation and Prevention found that slow, controlled breathing helped patients with heart disease stabilize their heart rate and maintain better oxygen delivery under stress. You don't need a hospital room or special equipment, just awareness, patience, and air. So if you ever find yourself waiting for help to arrive, focus on the sound and rhythm of your breath. Let your shoulders relax, your chest stay open, and your thoughts quiet down. Each slow inhale brings oxygen in. Each gentle exhale releases fear. Each breath buys you more time for help to arrive. And as your breathing steadies, there's one final thing to remember: how to keep your heart calm by doing absolutely nothing at all. Stay calm and still let help come to you. When a heart attack strikes, your first instinct might be to move, to stand, to walk, or even to pace while you wait. But that urge to move can quietly work against you. Every step, every lift of the arm, forces your heart to pump harder when it's already running on low fuel. Imagine your heart like an engine running on fumes. The more you push the accelerator, the faster it burns out. What it needs most right now isn't more effort, it's stillness. I once met a farmer named Dale, 71, who learned this lesson the hard way. One morning, while repairing a gate on his property, he felt sudden pressure across his chest. His instinct was to climb the ladder to reach his phone in the barn loft, but something inside told him to stay put. He sat down, stayed calm, and called for help from where he was. The paramedics later said that staying still kept his heart from collapsing under stress and likely saved his life. Dale went home 2 weeks later, back to feeding his chickens and tending the same gate he'd been fixing that morning. So if you ever feel that wave of pain or dizziness, fight the urge to move. Don't try to walk it off or reach for something across the room. You've already done what matters. You've called for help, prepared your space, and steadied your breathing. Now your job is simple. Be still, stay calm, and let help come to you. Calm equals control, and control gives your heart the best chance to recover. Those quiet moments of stillness are not weakness. They're wisdom in action. And once help arrives, the steps you've taken will have already given you the greatest gift of all time. Now, let's gently bring everything together, a short recap of these 7 life-saving actions and what they truly mean for your future. When it comes down to it, surviving a heart attack alone isn't about luck. It's about knowing what to do before panic takes over. You now have a simple checklist to hold on to. Call for help right away. Chew an aspirin if it's safe. Loosen tight clothing. Cough if you start to fade. Unlock your door and keep your phone close. Breathe slowly. And finally, stay calm and still. 7 small actions that can make the biggest difference when every second matters. Knowledge replaces fear. Preparation replaces panic. And the moment you know what to do, you've already shifted from helpless to ready. A heart attack doesn't have to be a death sentence. With the right mindset and simple preparation, you can give yourself a fighting chance even if you're alone. Keeping a small bottle of uncoated aspirin within reach isn't paranoia, it's wisdom. Making sure your phone is nearby isn't worry, it's readiness. These quiet habits turn fear into confidence. Because the truth is, staying calm isn't just emotional control, it's a physical advantage. When your heart knows you're steady, it responds in kind. Preparation is peace of mind, and peace of mind is power. I'd love to hear from you. Do you already keep aspirin or an emergency plan at home? Or is this something you're thinking about starting today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember the calmest minute can be the one that saves your life. Thank you for spending this time together. Remember, every small step counts toward a calmer, healthier life. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.